it looks like I'm just hanging out at a fuel station, but if you look behind it, you'll notice we're on the waterfront. So this is a fuel dock, and this is the Hokey Pokey. So you say, what is a Hokey Pokey? Well, that's just the name of the company, and it's a water taxi. So a water taxi is just a boat, pretty basic boat, but good little boats. I like the brand called Panga. I've seen them and sold in other places, but you know, it's a very high bow, very narrow beam, and they put like a 115 or a 130 horse engine on the back, and these puppies will move. So behind me over here is a typical, there's two water taxis there. And so we're gonna jump in the water taxi, then we're gonna run over to a place called Mango Creek. From there, I'm gonna take a taxi. My name is Russ, and this is I'm the captain of the sailing vessel Tautog, and Tautog is currently on a mooring over here in Placencia, and we're going to take the water taxi over to immigration to check out of the country because we're going to Guatemala. That's where we're going. So I'm whispering. You'll hear the voices in the background behind me. It's neither Spanish nor English nor anything else. It's what they call Creole down here. It's a hybrid language. Just kind of listen in as you can. And there's a couple of cars parked on the outside. You see the two white vans and a red van. Generally, those are taxis, and that's what I'm going to use. Somebody will be saying, hey, I'll just tell them, hey, I need to get to immigration. And it'll be about, I think, 10 or 20 Belizean dollars to get round trip. And the building with the big banana is the immigration office on the right, and the banana company on the left. So I'm sitting outside on a little bench and providing the normal kind of stuff to clear the immigration form, as you can see here. You know, my passport, I've already provided the crew list, which is called tripulante in Spanish. I don't know that literal translation, but the crew list, and I've already provided that, and vessel registration. Never mind the fact that I gave them like 6 copies when I got here, but you know, you have to provide again. So probably today I need to make a bunch more copies before I can leave tomorrow. From here, I'm going to clear out with immigration, and I'm going to walk about 300 meters to the customs and the port captain office, which is just... So the last thing to do now is pull out the other line, and then the boat's underway. And before you do that, you either want your engine running, ready to go on the motor, or you want your sails up, ready to sail off. And conditions today should favor me sailing off. Wind's coming pretty much right down the bow like it's supposed to. And so when I pull off the mooring, I'm going to drift right where the stern is. And there is a boat back there, and there's 2 boats back there, as you can see. But I won't drift that quickly, so I will have the engine running just in case. But I'm also going to have the mainsail and the staysail up. And I choose those 2 because they are both self-tacking. So when I need... And then you got to keep pulling to get the boom up. And now I can go adjust the sheet. The other one. So right now I'm happy with how far the boom can go. It can't go too far. We're kind of swinging around. The boat wants to move. And here comes my staysail. We're tacking. And now I just have to take in, I'm going to start the engine real fast and take in that bow line. And now I'm going to ease the main out. And now I'm underway. Okay, the time is 11:14. Engine on for less than a minute. I don't know if anybody can see anything. Let's get this pig underway. Let's go, girl. Show them what you got. I'm going to sail real close to Kelly and Melissa. My chart plotter is not working. It's showing me still back in that canal. I'm going to have to reboot real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Sometimes it doesn't catch the satellite.
right. But I don't remember how to reboot it. So if you see me anchor in a minute, that'll be why. Okay. Come on, Agatha. Come on, girl. But that's us. We left Placencia Harbor right here. Right here is Placencia Harbor, and I made about probably 6 miles in 2 hours, about 3 knots. But we're not trying to get all that far. We're trying to get down to here, you know. And I think a few more hours we'll be somewhere down in this ballpark, and I think we'll be okay. You know, that's the thing. The sea breeze hasn't really gotten ripping yet. It should pick up and go pretty good for the next couple hours, and then I'll be prepared to hand steer when that happens. And I just want to get into where we can anchor, you know, tonight, and I'll just sit there for a day or two, maybe all day tomorrow, and then on that'd be Friday, and then all day, and then Saturday afternoon head on down to Tres Puntas, and just sit there for a whole day on Sunday, and then late Sunday and early into Monday morning, I've got to chug over 10 miles across the bay to Livingston. And there's a lot of ways I can play it, but having time and not having to be in a hurry is good. And I'm doing this intentionally because I want to see if I can just chill out and enjoy a nice, quiet, slow sail. I mean, I get bitchy when I've got huge, awful swells to deal with, but we don't have anything like that. We're in a beautiful sea state right now. I mean, we're inside the reef, granted. This is inside the reef. The reef is out there somewhere. And we're in 60 feet of water. It's really just gorgeous. This is Belize. So you can see I'm sitting here in 8 feet of water. And that's where I'm at. So in general, there was no issues. So no issues coming in. Water out here is about 30 feet deep, 25 to 30 if you're skirting the edge of that. But I could see the rocks here where it shows 5 feet. I could see that. There's also a large sandbar here sticking out. I could see that visually. So if it was nighttime, you wouldn't have seen it. But I kept well clear of that head. And generally, that's always a smart play, right? Keep clear of the points and the puntas or the heads, whatever you want to call it. Stay clear of those. And that's what got my dumbass aground up in the Keys this past year, because I didn't do that. I tried to cut across. But at any rate, it was about 12 feet deep all the way in, but now I'm down to 8. So I was slowly coming up, and I just aimed right for the anchorage spot, more or less, that other people have used. And you can go to these anchor spots, you know, New Haven, and you can look at comments that people leave. See, people say, you know, blah blah blah, very pretty, very large, 5.5 draft. So anyway, glad to be here, glad to be done for the day, and we'll talk about. Okay, we are anchored in New Haven, and there's no one else here. There's no cellular signal, and I don't have my Iridium Go activated. So I am on my own here. Hope I can get out of here properly. It appears to be, so this is New Haven, and I see some like natural beaches all along the water, and I'm already thinking I'm just going to stay 2 days here. Like stay tonight and again tomorrow night, and then tomorrow morning then I'll put the dinghy in the water and motor over and just kind of, you know, check out the natural beaches. You know, I think that would be really good. I need a day. Howler monkeys. The air over the land rises during the daytime, and it usually draws air in from the sea, and we've always called that sea breeze. Like if you live on the east coast of Florida or Virginia or wherever, you've probably seen that a million times. And we get that here up in Placencia. We got that every day. But down here, you get it, but it's very light. Now the day I left and came down here, it was ripping. But yesterday
We got a sea breeze from the east in the northeast, but it didn't last long. Not long enough for me to go 20 miles. So there's a very good possibility I'm going to end up, you know, halfway to my destination. You know, so I'm trying to go from here down to here, and you go, well, shit, how hard is that? It's only 20 miles. Well, 25 maybe, and it's only 20 to get behind this cape and hide. And you would hide there if you're expecting strong northeasters. So maybe you might do that in the afternoon, but then the wind's going to be coming like this, you know, the next day, and it's very difficult to advance against that. You have to tack the whole goddamn way across this bay. So
okay, we got the sails ready to go. That's all hankified and rigged. All I got to do is pop off the ropes to the sail ties. Same with the main. The halyards rigged, ready to roll, ready to hoist them. Point into the wind and go. Just sometimes I have to remember to stop and enjoy. This is pretty cool. Frenchman K. Pretty sure of that.
okay, day 3. Day 3. It's just a whisker after 12 o'clock, and I've been motoring for 2.5 hours. Got myself in a pretty good position. But it is freaking dead calm right now. And I think in about 20-30 minutes, maybe up to an hour, we're going to get some wind back, but it's going to be coming from 150 or 090, and that will enable me, by virtue of me putting us in position using the engine, to just go steer anywhere from 240 to 180 straight dead nuts into Livingston. Look, now it's only been about 20 minutes since my last comment, and we are moving at 1.1 knots, and Agatha's steering us. Ah! So, I used to work in Chicago at a convenience store. I used to work in Chicago. I did, but I don't anymore. 260. Now Agatha's putting on left rudder, so she's going to jibe us back. And we're kind of making a course good about 260, according to this, at about 1 knot. And again, I'm not worried. Anything between 180 and 270, frankly, is okay with me at the moment. Just to get us south and west, until the sea breeze picks up, and then we can actually steer for our destination. It's about 17 miles to get to Rio Dulce. Okay. And what I learned yesterday, watching the conditions from New Haven, is that the sea breeze will clock around to about 090 and go for about 2 to 3 hours only. By 7 o'clock, it's going to start clocking back around to the southeast. So I'd rather get south first. So it behooves me to steer about 180 to 210 once we get moving. And then if the winds change and kind of clocks around, because it'll take about 4 hours for me to make that distance, depending how fast I get going. So it would make more sense for me to aim for that red ball and then this red ball, and then as the winds clock around to the southeast, I can continue to sail. If I steer over here first, and then the winds clock on the southeast, now I'm kind of trapped. Now I can't steer this way anymore. Saturday the 8th, about 5 p.m., approaching Cabo Tres Puntas to anchor. know, it wasn't really a long, horrible day out there, but it does feel good when you're approaching your final destination. You see, I chose to anchor next to this catamaran at Tres Puntas, and we had a lovely evening for a little while. And then the weather got, you know, pretty gnarly in the nighttime, and in the morning it was time to shove off for Livingston. But that arriving and dropping the anchor feeling is pretty hard to beat. Even for, I mean, 6 feet draft isn't all that much, but people have gone aground getting in that river, so generally you get help, like a pilot type thing, and that costs money, and that's Hector, and that's fine. And I think he can be available today, but I gotta go there quick time. So I think what I'm gonna do is sail for a little while, straight south. So the way I guess this is my decision-making process. So I can sail like this because the wind is coming from about here. The wind's coming from 240 right now, but it won't stay there. It's going to eventually clock around, and it'll be right, and then I won't be able to sail it anymore. Then I would have to tack and go that way. And it could very easily end up taking me 8 hours to make it 9 miles, 9.6 miles, as you can see. Or I think I'll just start up the engine and go. And I got to make that decision in the next 1 minute. Because we gotta go. Decision making. I thought I was kind of done with that bullshit when I left my job. Okay, so this is my first look at Livingston, Guatemala. I'm gonna go about as close as that guy, and then I'm gonna drop the anchor and just sit tight and wait for Hector. So if you draw 6 feet or more, generally the boat can't get across the sandbar that's at the river mouth, or the delta, whatever you want to call it, unless you're right at high tide. And even then you need to know exactly where to go, a little bit to the left, a little to the right, and I don't know this stuff. Some people know because they have chart plotters and they've done it before, so they just save their track. Okay, well that's good, but I can't do that. So there's a guy named Hector who's going to guide me through, and I wonder what's up with that. It's still getting drug in through the muck. I mean, I thought we were through it. We're still getting a couple. I felt the bottom hit just a second ago. So the situation is crossing the bar or pulling me through the mud, whatever you want to call it. This is a planned evolution. So I'm not sure if you call this technically running aground, but I sure am plowing a big old hole. And I'll just be grateful to see my depth sounder reading 7-8 feet. That would be a nice change. Okay, so engine's going to stay running, and I'm technically under tow now. So Hector's going to drag me across the bar, and my chart plotter is recording the track. Okay, so I'm not sure if I filmed that or not. So we are moving. I think we've gone about 200 yards more or less, although I haven't tried to actually measure it. We moved a couple hundred foot for sure. And I can tell by making a range with objects on the land that we are in fact moving. And I think... And so one boat is doing the towing to position the sailboat, and the other one is controlling the angle of heel. And the theory is you try to get the boat heeled over so that the keel is raised up out of the water. And we did that to me too, but it's interesting to see it on another boat. That's Hector out there, one of the boats on the Who's, but he's got to come back and get me in a minute here because I'm aground too. So so I got myself kedged in here like I'm supposed to, and everything. I mean, it kind of went according to plan, I guess, but as I drove in here unassisted, once I got clear of the muck, I was just aiming straight for the, you can see my track line. I was just coming in from where he drugged me in. I put the red balls where we got stuck the first time, and then this is where I got kedged, and once the kedging was over, I was kind of on my own. But I got stuck here. I was aiming right for that anchorage, you know, and that's what he told me to do, I'm sure. But I mean, 5 feet to the right or left is all it takes in this river. This behind me here is Livingston, Guatemala. It's a port of entry. You can't just chug in here and keep going up the river to Rio Dulce because there's no customs agents or immigration agents or people like that. They are here. Every country has a number of ports of entry. And you have to know where those are before you go cruising. And you have to find a port of entry when you come in. And until you get to one and check into the country, you have to fly the quarantine flag, which means you're not allowed to go ashore. I got towed once, then kedged, then drove for free, then went aground, and then I got towed again to this location. And it's not like, you know, and this is not me trying to deflect blame, okay? I'm fully accountable. But goddamn, you know, you have no freaking idea where the bars are. So Hector is the guy. The agent who helps us get in through clearance tomorrow, that's Raul. And Raul, he hooks you up with Hector. And Hector, and looks like his entire family, have 2 big old boats with huge diesels inside and big propellers. And they do the kedging and the towing. And that's their gig. It's how they do it. And this old Perkins is pretty much bulletproof. And man, you know, Mr. Perkins did freaking awesome yesterday and today. But we're all going to take a break. And I'm just thankful to be here right now. So here I am. Welcome to Guatemala. Again, this is Livingston. I'll be going ashore tomorrow, or maybe the agents will come out to me. I don't know which. And there's all the mountains. I'm looking forward to hearing the howler monkeys and the whole shebang. So anyway, Livingston, Guatemala.